Hey guys, welcome to our podcast where we watch all of the movies in the MCU individually and come together on a video chat to discuss it and review it. My name is Rob.
Rinaldi?
Elise.
And I'm Fergie.
This episode, we are going to talk about the Incredible Hulk.
Bruce Banner becomes the Hulk as an unwitting pawn in a military experiment to resurrect the super soldier program through gamma radiation. On the run, he attempts to cure himself of the Hulk before he's captured by General Ross. But his worst fears are realized when power-hungry soldier Emil Blonsky, who works for Ross, becomes a similar but more dangerous creature.
I gotta ask Rinaldi, were you doing an accent?
No.
Oh, he goes, no accent. I definitely.
Like a news anchor.
Oh, I see, like a news anchor. Got you. Okay. I totally heard an accent somewhere in there.
I mean, it wasn't as popping because the movie was a little flat, but I had fun.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
That's the whole point, that we're having fun doing it.
Yeah.
So, I have a review here about The Incredible Hulk from 2008. So, this is a review on slate.com by Miss Dana Stevens. And in this article, she actually reviews both. I guess The Happening also came out that year, but we're going to skip over that. And so I will read just a little excerpt that she wrote here if I can find it. Okay, so she says, why remake a crappy movie 5 years later if it's only going to be marginally less crappy? The recent publicity over Ed Norton's rumored clashes with Marvel over the final cut and his official statement to Entertainment Weekly assuring fans that the resulting movie was totally not going to blow have only raised, in parentheses, or lowered expectations even further. So it's a shame that the movie decided to split the difference by turning out incredibly, colossally okay. So,
Dang. She had nothing good to say.
What did you think when you read it, Elise?
You know what? I can't argue with her really. Yeah, I was really trying. So I watched it last night, trying to really figure out what my issue was with it, and honestly, the part that messed me up the most was really it was Edward Norton and Liv Tyler together. In those scenes together, it just was like, nah. I think that was really what like killed it for me. The fighting scene at the end, I could tolerate it. It was fine, but I just feel like they were supposed to be, you know, like Banner and Ross were supposed to be like, oh my gosh, lovers. It's like, are y'all really in love with each other, or did somebody force you into this? I can't really.
We're
And
going to talk more about that later.
yeah, but that's the bulk of my issue. I think there were just other story thing. I don't know. Something about the progression ain't right, but I can't put my finger on it.
So, Elise
So
wrote
you
this
agree,
review.
You agree with the reviewer?
Yeah.
Okay, the review I found was from the New York Times by A.O. Scott. The new movie about Dr. Bruce Banner is called The Incredible Hulk. But let's not get carried away. The Adequate Hulk would have been a more suitable title. Shock.
Mm-hmm. So we heard a little bit of what other people said. What do you guys think? We watched this movie yesterday. We watched it before, but with
B
we
minus.
watched it yesterday. Yeah, I would give it the same grade, B minus. What do you guys think?
I feel it's hard because I feel like
Yikes.
the first half of the movie is better than the second.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first half of the movie, I want to give it a B plus, The second half of the movie is a D plus. So I guess it's a C plus. Yeah, I give it a C plus.
That's fair.
Yikes. Okay. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna have fun with this one. But before what was good about the movie? Let's talk about that. What worked? What do we feel like was really, that we felt that was good with this movie?
I'm leaning towards like mid C minus. Yeah.
Okay. He was ruthless.
I don't know. You know what? Let's say
blood
C.
hungry.
We'll C.
Yeah.
I'll be nice.
Blood hungry. Okay. Yeah, he was about it. Now, but like which villain specifically? Because I feel like that there was at least there were two. We're talking about
Blonsky, the soldier that tried to fight the
him. Yeah. He was thirsty.
Yeah, the villain.
He was I liked his ambition. Like he didn't want to be afraid of the Hulk. He wanted to let the Hulk know that I'm the one person that's not afraid of you.
Yeah, he was even like when Bruce was struggling.
Yeah, we're talking about
not struggling. He already did the antidote thing, and I don't know. I missed what happened exactly, but basically, the soldier was in Banner's face while Banner was like getting unconscious, and he wanted Hulk. The soldier wanted Hulk to come out, like he wanted Hulk. It's like he has something to prove. So it's like he was bloodthirsty. He did not care. He did not care that the Hulk was dangerous. In fact, that fueled something in him. But they don't really explain why.
Yeah, no flashbacks for this character, unfortunately.
That's true.
They don't really explain why. Like they have this little dialogue, right? With him and Agent or General Ross. And something about like him being like 39 years old and wishing that he was younger or something like that. Yeah. Weird back and forth. But like it doesn't really explain much to like why he is the way he is or why he was just so aggressive with going after the Hulk. Even before he became the big monster that he became, he was like toe to toe with the Hulk and he stood in front of him and he was not afraid.
Yeah, I think that was the issue with not just his character, but just others. That was just kind of like, it's almost like you're thrown into the middle of things. And you're just like, wait a minute, how did this start? What's going on? So it's just kind of like, I feel like the movie was just an event and you needed some context and it really was kind of lacking.
Yeah, it didn't really have a whole lot of explaining. They kind of wanted to just do the movie.
I had a question though. Is there a Hulk origin story out there? Is that like the previous films, or like what is his origin story?
So that was a debate. Edward Norton was debating with the director over how to approach it, because there was the movie that came out 5 years before. That was an origin story, and I guess Edward Norton wanted to like do his own origin story with his own version of the character, but like the director was like, no, because the fans already saw the previous Hulk, so let's just start in the middle. But then Edward Norton was saying, how can you have a movie where people aren't connected to what's going on by starting in the middle? And that led to a lot of issues when they were filming the movie. And then that led to Mark Ruffalo, because Edward Norton was really frustrated with this movie.
It shows in his acting.
Yeah. And it stinks, because I think Ed Norton is a great actor, but for for some reason, it just didn't come through in this project at all. Outside of the beginning, because I think in the beginning, when he was a fugitive, he was actually really good. But then once he linked up with Betty, the acting quality fell off. So I'm kind of with Elise. Like, the relationship didn't work.
Yeah, I think that's so frustrating too because I love both Liv Tyler and Ed Norton as actors, but them together in this movie, it just wasn't what it could be, which is annoying. But it's hard for me to separate that because I love them so much. I was generous with my B- rating. It was entertaining though, I guess, if anything.
It's tough because sometimes, the expression is you don't bat 1,000. Sometimes you strike out, even if you're great.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Were you...
Yeah,
We called it.
Were you waiting for that?
No.
One of you were waiting for that.
Anyway, I think it's one of those. I think it's a movie where there are pockets of excellence mixed in with mediocrity.
That's it.
Yeah, there were definitely pockets of excellence.
I like the intro scene where he's at the factory and he's fixing that little device and he pricks his finger and like you see that blood like fall and tumble into the other assembly lines and he's like rushing to clean it up. I thought that was very interesting.
And then he misses the whole thing because it ends up in a bottle anyways.
Yeah, I know.
Completely misses it.
For a very intelligent man who is a scientist and all of that stuff, he misses a lot of that stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
There are points where he's like standing by windows and I'm like, aren't you trying to hide?
Right.
Maybe he was emotional about being away from America for so long. Because he's in Brazil for like a long time.
Don't make excuses for him.
But can we also talk about how he walked from Brazil to Guatemala to the U.S.? I was like, what?
That man walked.
I think he snuck on a boat. Didn't he sneak on a boat?
Did he?
I must have.
Water. You're not Jesus.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe I missed that part. I do remember him sneaking onto a boat at some point, but I think it was him and Betty, right?
Oh,
yeah.
That was with him and Betty.
Yeah, that was him and Betty,
yeah.
but not his troop to America or Guatemala.
Maybe, I'm not great with geography, so maybe Guatemala is next to Mexico.
Yeah, it is. I had to bust out my map last night. I was like, wait, how is this even possible?
Yeah. So he walked?
He walked.
That man walked. That man walked. No, he walked.
He actually walked.
For a man trying to hide, he walked. That.
Yeah, this movie felt like a 180 from Iron Man 1. Because he was so, like, he was trying to suppress his emotions the whole movie. And it just, I don't know. It was just hard to connect with him. Also, Ross is a very annoying character. So he's way too stubborn.
Yeah, he's very stubborn. Yeah.
I kind of felt like both of them were.
Who was not stubborn in this movie? That's a bigger question. Who was not stubborn?
Wait, what?
Stubborn?
Yeah.
Dr. Sampson.
Yeah, that's true.
Substitute
They all
boyfriend. He wasn't stubborn.
Oh, you know what? Let me talk about. Oh my goodness, let me talk about that.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Oh my goodness, poor guy. Because as soon as they became reunited, her and Bruce,
right?
It was like, what boyfriend do I have? It was like, and he didn't like.
He was the quickest afterthought ever.
You know, in the comics,
the rebound, if you could even call him that.
Hit with gamma radiation too, because a Hulk villain like kidnaps him because Bruce Banner is he's getting psychological help from the Dr. Samson. So by association, he turned into a Hulk creature too. So he's just getting L's left and right.
This might be jumping the gun, but did you guys see like towards the end when Abomination like became Abomination, he like threw the other Doctor against something, and then he started to like transform. Yeah, I was like, whoa, where are they going with this? But then nothing really resulted after.
Yeah, Rinaldi, what was supposed to happen?
Okay, so Dr. Stearns, he also gets hit with gamma radiation and becomes like super smart the way Hulk is super strong. But I think in the movie they changed it to where he got infected with Bruce Banner's blood. So, but he's supposed to his head is supposed to grow like really big, like a brain, like shaped like a brain, and he's supposed to be basically like incredibly smart. The way Hulk is like a dangerous like fighter.
So I think that was more of a a comic book nod.
Yeah, because they wanted to do a sequel though with Dr. Stearns as a villain, but the legal issues got in the way with Universal. So it just became just a nod, like an Easter egg.
Yeah. See, well, it's good I didn't know that. I could tell that he was affected, but I was just like, okay, well, his face is just kind of getting a little bubbly here and there, but
it's gonna
what
mutate.
else?
That was the idea.
So
like his head was gonna grow in size.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they had all these issues with Ed Norton and Universal because we got Mark Ruffalo. Woo, thank goodness.
I know.
Save the day, baby.
Will we ever get a Mark Ruffalo?
It's like back-to-back movies. Where Terrence Howard got replaced. And then Ed Norton got replaced.
I'm the Incredible Maine.
Stop. Mankind.
Oh, did you guys
I did not care at all about Betty.
Facts on facts.
I didn't either.
She was a pretty face.
But yeah, sorry, Fergie, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you guys catch Lou Ferrigno? His little cameo.
True. Oh yeah, he's a security guard.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, that was dope.
Well, wait. Well, I was actually looking at the casting. I think they actually use him when he transformed into Hulk. I think they actually used him. No.
They used Lou Ferrigno in the Avengers Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the first Avengers movie, they used Lou Ferrigno's face for Hulk.
Okay.
But I think they just digitally did something.
Like the CGI for the Hulk in this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was fair.
It
was all right. I think
there were some scenes in the end though where it was so hard to see everything.
What was that? Fergie?
Oh, I was gonna say at the end of the movie there were some scenes where it was so hard to see like everyone, like especially Abomination and Hulk, so like in their shape. I'm like, are they getting a punch in? Like what's going on?
Did Michael Bay direct this? Like what the heck?
Ooh, wow.
Yo, are we gonna get to a Marvel movie with the last 30 minutes? I actually could. Please.
Possibly.
You know what? We have you for that, man. You're tracking that so far. So far, it's 0 for 2.
0 for 2.
Yeah. It was
Abomination in the cartoon, and he was fired.
Yeah.
This movie, I'm like,
He wasn't bad though.
At actually liked him when he was a superhuman.
That's true. He was better when he was a
Like,
human.
he just jump really high. Yeah.
And run really fast. Did you see that? Booking it.
Oh, he was dipping. Oh
Mhm.
I want to see him, that version of him, against Captain America.
Yeah, that'd be dope. That'd be dope.
Oh,
Yeah.
He was out.
he was
Exactly.
My man said, class dismissed. Boom, 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 boom.
He was flexing himself a little too hard because he was like,
Yo,
what you gonna do? And then the Hulk was like, damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Rob thought he was dead after that. I was like, no. Please don't die like
How did
that.
he survive that? He got kicked so hard, and he
So
hit
hard.
that tree so hard, and he survived.
Healing factor.
Yeah, I could tell, because, like,
So does he.
dang. Yeah,
Because
so...
if that was a regular person like me and you, we
Yeah,
died.
man.
We would die. And that's
Well, that's why I thought he died, because I'm like, yo, I would die if I got kicked like that.
But he has a serum. But he has a super soldier serum.
Yeah.
And it has a healing factor.
listen. My heart would have gave out before my body even hit anything. I don't.
Well, you know what? I hated at the very end though when Hulk was about to like give Abomination like that last blow, and Liv Tyler or Betty, whatever her name was like, don't. I was like, what are you talking about? Don't, like, let him finish him. Let us see the end of it.
Right.
What are you talking about
Yes.
stopping him?
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
You get me
Pepper
for
was like, hey, you want to kill Obadiah? All right.
yes. That's
You
yes.
gotta go Old Testament. You gotta kill the thing.
She's jumping in.
Yeah, this
Right.
Batman's
Let
like
her do it.
Batman is Superman.
She was just jumping in front of tanks, jumping in front of
Right.
everybody.
else.
No,
That's
stop.
enough.
Like, stop.
So I missed what happened after he beats the crap out of out of Abomination, puts his foot on the guy's chest, roars at the sky. Then what? What happens to Abomination? Did he just disappear?
He goes.
That's it. He was there.
Did he get arrested?
That's
Did I miss that part?
They don't show.
It what?
They don't show. They're actually referencing Agents of Shield.
Yeah.
That he's arrested.
I don't know.
Already-
I believe that villains should be decimated. I don't think you should save them and keep them locked up. I'm like, they're gonna escape eventually.
Again, Batman exception. That's the Batman exception.
Which is what she.
Hulk
Which
is
is
not
what.
Batman.
Which is what Betty Ross was trying to
I don't think it should be the Batman exception.
Oh my god.
I think
Be the rule.
like, okay, not everyone needs to be murdered, but like the longer you keep something like Abomination alive, or the guy, like, okay, he's Abomination. He just, like, I don't know, killed so many people, destroyed a whole city, and you want to decide that you have morals? Like, I don't know. I say kill the guy.
Rob, every time you say abomination, I hear Obama Nation. I'm like, what?
You guys see that fight between Hulk and Abomination?
Listen here, Hulk. We
Gotta watch out for
Abomination.
Abomination.
We
Oh
are
my
trying
gosh.
to make this country a better place.
We are
And you are a menace.
Hulk.
Hulk. You
Hulk.
need to stop.
Obamacare is here to help. I know you're trying to find a solution. I can help, Mr. Banner.
So,
Obamacare.
what were these
Abomination.
Elise, what were these progression issues you had? Because you were about to go in this podcast.
No. Well, so I couldn't figure out exactly what I was trying to get out earlier. The one thing that I definitely did know is that, yeah, it was the relationship between Betty Ross and Bruce Banner. That those were just like, what was that? And it disappointed me because, Edward Norton's a good actor, and like Liv Tyler, I like her. You know what I mean? I watched the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I liked her in it. She did great, you know. So I was just like, yo, what happened here? I feel like it was a case of Twilight where they just like they couldn't really function like and come together. But I guess yeah, I think the biggest thing was probably what I alluded to earlier is that it's just like you're just kind of placed in the middle of a story. You don't really have too much background information, and maybe they did it that way on purpose because they're expecting um the viewers like who are familiar with his character, maybe, or maybe they expected, oh, the people who are going to watch this 2008 one also watched the 2003, so they kind of have some sort of frame of reference. But it's like, okay, me personally, like I was never really a big Hulk fan. So if I'm coming in here just like, hey, like what's this about? Like I think a
Yeah.
new viewer would struggle with that.
Yeah.
Totally.
Um
That's me.
Yeah, I don't see how anybody would, because that was Edward Norton's struggle with the whole movie, was the fact that it was not an origin story. You will not fall in love with any of the characters, and you can't buy into what's happening because you're not starting in the middle of the story. You're starting in the middle of the story. Like, he's already become Hulk.
Yeah.
He's already struggled with the government. He's already had like his love interest, and he ran away for some time. So like, you're catching
yeah.
him in the middle of him running away, not at the beginning of him running away. That would have been a more interesting way to start it. Um, but he's literally like in the middle of
Yeah.
running away, and you have to catch up with the movie as you're watching it.
Right. And I think that that is okay if you wanted to start off the movie that way, like he's on the run, you're just like, yo, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And but I think they just needed to rewind, and maybe they could have led up to like, okay, why is he actually running, what's his current situation?
Mm-hmm.
So like if you could use that as a device if you wanted to, like be like, okay, you see him running, like, okay, what's happening? And then you, as you go on with the
Mm-hmm.
story, like they give you those scenes, but it's just kind of they didn't
Yeah,
really
I
give you
agree.
They could have did it like Batman Begins. Because Batman Begins, it starts with him like in another country in prison, but then they go back to when his parents got killed, and then as a teenager, he tried to kill the guy that killed his parents.
Exactly.
So they did it that way, and it was really good. So Hulk could have took the same approach.
Yeah, the other thing too is
Right.
that I wonder what their whole intention was with this movie, because Batman Begins, for example, I don't know if Christopher Nolan was banking on having that be a box office success. I think he was banking on the series. If they're coming out with this Hulk movie, are they banking on this being a series, or are they just trying to do a Hulk movie? Because I think you said that they were trying to do a series or a part two to that movie, right?
Yeah, they were trying to make it like a trilogy.
Yeah.
That's why they showed Dr. Stearns get infected with gamma radiation. Because in the comics, he's like the Hulk's arch enemy. So in a weird way, it kind of was like Batman Begins, because Batman Begins, they had one villain, and then Dark Knight was the Joker, like the arch enemy.
I see. Yeah, I still wouldn't have started if I directed this movie. And this isn't a gripe. This isn't my time. This isn't so much a gripe. But if I wrote this movie or directed this movie, I would have started at the beginning of him running away and hiding, not in the middle of it. I would have, because I see that they're not trying to like, okay, he's in a lab right now and he's being tested and blah. Like, I know that they want to do that. I get that. But put us right in the action, right at the beginning of him running away. And then you can cut back a little bit here and there. That way you don't waste time building up to that. But you want to get us right at the jump in the movie. And I feel like we had, at least for me, I had too many questions as I'm watching this movie. Like, he was messaging this guy, Mr. Blue. And you're like,
Blue.
I'm like, okay, who's Mr. Blue? I know we're supposed to ask that, but like, how long has he been typing to Mr. Blue?
Yep.
Who is this? Is he meant to help Mr. Blue? Is this a love interest? It's too many questions. And I know that movies are meant, or these kind of movies are meant to have you ask questions, but these are not the questions I should be asking, I think.
I have a question then. What happened in the 2003 version of the movie? Was that a little bit of an origin story?
Ever watch Flubber?
2 nights ago. But yeah, like what happened in the 2003 version?
The 30-second version is Bruce Banner's dad is an abusive guy, scientist. So he's a scientist too, and he abuses Bruce. He abuses Bruce's mom, and that causes Bruce to have anger issues. So when he gets mutated by the gamma radiation, he starts to get all angry, like when he transforms, because he has daddy issues. And then it turns out his dad faked his death. And then when he realizes that Bruce Banner can transform the Hulk, he's going to try to capture the Hulk, dissect him, so that he can become the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically the movie. And the dad creates mutant poodles to attack Betty, so that Betty can be bait in a trap that he sets for Bruce.
Got you.
And those mutant poodles are terrible. I hate the mutant poodles.
Mutant poodles.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man. It looked like some reject villains from like Ninja Turtles.
Well, so Eric Bana played the Hulk. I'm googling it.
Wow.
That's crazy. Was he good?
He was alright.
And Jennifer Connelly?
No, he was not.
Wonderful all day, every day.
Yeah, no. He.
I feel Eric Bana a C minus.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's good that we are reviewing this movie and not the one before.
Oh, really?
Yes, I thought the movie before this one was trash.
You talking about the 2003 Hulk?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that movie was trash.
That movie was trash.
A solid B. Give it a solid B.
Then I think I agree with you.
Oh,
I think I agree with you then, Rob.
Oh,
okay.
Wait, B or D? Wait, I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, it's a B. It's a B.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say I agree with you, Rob, because I feel like we are just kind of thrown into this, and you, Elise, too. Like, certain characters, I'm like, wait, who's that? What's their relationship to each other? Why are they acting weird towards each other? And it's confusing, especially if you're gonna change the cast basically every time you make a Hulk movie. They should have started with some sort of beginning or action sequence.
Yeah.
You know what's weird? Iron Man doesn't start in the beginning. It starts with him getting kidnapped, and then it flashes back to the beginning of the movie.
Right.
Weird.
Yep.
Yep. So it can be done. They
I'm
just
happy, man,
didn't do it.
Because of this mess up, we got Mark Ruffalo.
That's true. Mark.
This is true.
I love Mark Ruffalo, man.
Mark Ruffalo's the guy.
I'm a fan of Mark Ruffalo.
But before we get to him, I don't know if there's any other things you want to share, or it's time for a segment that Rinaldi calls
a little R&R.
This is where I and Rinaldi get to compare and complain about some gripes. Fergie, do you have that music for me? I have something I want to write a review on this movie. My only gripe I have was Edward Norton, not the actor. I think the actor, he was not bad in general, but in this movie, the only emotion that we got from him was when he transformed and when he runs up to Betty and makes out with her. Outside of all of that, it's like I don't know, he doesn't have any emotions, he has no reactions. It's like he came from the tribe of resting face. Like, he has no emotion. Even at the end of the movie, where he is ready to jump out the plane, and then Betty's like, "What are you doing? You're crazy." He's showing no signs of fear, nervousness, no nothing. It's like Bruce Banner was ready for this, and that is not Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner is the opposite of everything we saw in this movie, I feel like. Because if it's Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, or Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, then it's like Clark Kent to Superman. Why is Bruce Banner as brave as he is? And if he is this brave, why does he need the Hulk? What's the difference in the personalities? That was my biggest gripe with this movie, is that throughout we don't get to fall in love with this character, and there's no development with his character throughout the movie. So that's my gripe. That's my little R&R. Rinaldi, what do you think?
I don't know what to make of Bruce Banner, and I think this character arc for him, it kind of reveals that Ed Norton and the director really didn't get along. They had issues, and you can tell that, like, unlike Michael Jackson, who was able to perform excellently, even if he had issues with the backup singers, Ed Norton could not pull that off, and it felt like there was a disconnect in trying to connect with this character. So I don't know if I agree with you, Rob, because I don't know who Bruce Banner is.
This is.
I don't know if he's someone that's kind and caring and sociable, like he was in the bottom of the planet, or if he's someone that's psychologically tormented, like he was in the cave, or if he was someone that was just angry, like, you're hurting my lady, General Ross, I gotta stop you, Rinaldi. It's like, who is this person? It's one of the three? Or is it all three? I don't know, man. But at least we got my brother, though.
And that was little R&R.
Yeah, we actually agree, kind of.
Yeah, we agree that Ed Norton's character was not consistent, and there was no character development. How the character development, or how there was a lack of character development, that's where the difference is. But I can live with that, because I think you're right. He's like 5 people in one.
I think looking back at this movie, though, like, I feel like this role is beneath him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I don't see today him signing on for this type of role.
Ed Norton is an actor. He's not an actor. He's an actor. It's like Jared Leto. Jared Leto is an actor. And so sometimes, people like that, they can't do the comic book movie.
Yeah.
Well, I will add to one of the believable scenes where he did show emotion. I did kind of see something when he first saw Betty, like, like she was sitting on the bench waiting for Samson or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of like, I was kind of convinced that one. He looked at her like it was like, oh my gosh, it's her. Like, he had that sort of like expression. But then it was like, now you finally got Betty Ross and you can't function. Like, wait, what happened? I thought you were waiting for this moment.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
That's
I
true.
just want to.
So did you like the Hulk? Did you guys have a past with the Hulk character? We didn't have much familiarity with Iron Man before we saw the Iron Man movie. So is it the same with the Hulk?
I feel like it's the other way around. I think we know the Hulk going into this, and then watching this movie, it was not a huge letdown. I don't know if people came into this expecting much, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think this was supposed to be a box office hit or anything, but I also think that the Hulk is so popularly known that it's easy to mess him up.
I can't remember if I've seen this movie before. I feel like I might have just once in like casually, but I think after watching this, I get the sense that this movie wasn't just meant to be a standalone, like even with Tony Stark's cameo at the end. So I think
that it wasn't meant to be just standalone.
Yeah, so I think after watching it, I'm like, okay, I want to see more. So I don't know. I feel like it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Hulk, as a kid, for me, it was a cool character. And he's someone that I wanted to see more of. Like, more dimensions to him, more characters. And this movie did deliver that. So I guess I gotta pick up a comic book.
Yeah, well, I don't know if there's any other things you guys want to add or anything. But that's The Incredible Hulk. Thank you guys for sharing. Thank you, those of you who are listening. What's the next movie? What are we watching next? We're watching Iron Man 2?
Yep.
We're watching Iron Man 2.
Okay. We will be doing a review on Iron Man 2. So tune in on the next episode and catch you guys later.